Peace and love, family. Welcome back to another episode of Chest Out, Heart Open, the podcast where we unpack real issues with raw truth and relentless love. I'm your host, Darrell Barnes Bay, and today's episode is not for the faint of heart. Because we're diving deep into the identity shifts that happens, man, when the old version of you is no longer welcome. It ain't welcome in your hood, it ain't welcome in your house, and sometimes not even in your own mind. Yeah, we always want to change. I'm trying to figure out which one of these. But I should wear a hat, not wear a hat. The last episode I was talking to my Moorish brother. You know, I was talking to Brother Sharif Abnel Bay in the last episode that I did last week. And it brought me to this topic right here, brought me to this discussion, you know, because when you go through life, like he said, and a lot of people do suffer from imposter syndrome, meaning that they blend in everywhere they go. They try to fit in, get along with everybody. You know what I mean? But when you grow up, mature, and settle down with you and yourself and get comfortable with who you are, sometimes you got to make a change. You got to rebrand yourself from the person that people knew you to be all your life. You know, all along they thought they knew you, but they really didn't. They thought that they accepted the mask that you put on. They accepted the person that you portrayed to be. You know, and then when you become the person that deep inside that you always wanted to be, which is the complete opposite of the person that you have been presented to the world all your life. And sometimes they might not want you. There's a lot of people that I work with, that I deal with, that's working on bettering their lives, bettering their situations, you know. And that'd be one of the most challenging parts, is being accepted by people. Because some people only make changes because they want to make other people happy. The best thing to do if you want to make some changes, man, you make the changes for you and to make you happy, not for nobody else. But what does it mean really to rebrand yourself? To represent yourself to the world, your community, your family, your friends. You know, what does that look like? You know, I was hoping people that would come on, chime in, and, you know, give me some ideas of what that look like, buddy. Let me see if y'all on here. Let me see, or maybe I need to get some people some time, because this is the first time Facebook has allowed me to go live on do a live stream. So I just want to see, what does it mean to rebrand yourself? What does it look like? Like I said, I work with a lot of people in the community that's trying to better themselves. They're trying to better themselves. And what does it look like? I mean, how do you feel about if you make some improvements for yourself, but nobody else don't accept the changes that you made for yourself? You know, how would that make you feel? Let's see. So let me see if y'all on here with me. Yeah, I'm on here. So how would that make you feel? I mean, how do you feel about that? I should say. How do people feel about, you know, you trying to improve yourself, First of all, what do you think about trying to improve yourself for other people? You know what I mean? We try to improve ourselves to make other people happy. But a lot of times when we make changes to improve ourselves or try to represent ourselves in a better way to people, we get rejected. They don't like us. We stop having friends, man. I changed my life, man. I stopped doing certain things, man, like 19 years ago. Man, I haven't had now one visitor to my house yet. Only people that ever came to my house is my auntie. She came once, maybe twice, and my daughter maybe came once or twice. Prior to me making a difference or changing my life, man, everybody was in my house. Couldn't get people away from my house. So how do you feel about being rejected when you rebrand yourself, when you make better choices and make better decisions for yourself than you had in the past? But people reject you. Do you sometimes make you doubt whether you should have made those changes? Do you sometimes ask yourself, maybe I was better off if I would continue to think like this or to present myself like this or to live like this? Because right now, uh, and I just want to go on the record and say, when I be posting stuff up about living in the crowd, I mean, sometimes we travel with a lot of people throughout our lives. We travel with a crowd only to end up alone. I'm not saying that I'm lonely. I am by myself, but I'm at peace. Crowds get you in trouble. I just wanted to know from you guys, what did you think about what does it mean to rebrand yourself? These are some things that you need to think about. Ask yourself, am I living right? Am I presenting myself? Am I presenting myself to the world the way I want to be received? And if not, what are some of the things that I need to do to make some adjustments and make some changes? These are questions that all of us should be asking ourselves. These things are not to be taken lightly because we come into an era of time. And I don't know if y'all paying attention, man. You got to know some stuff about. You got to have some type of focus on where you're going. What do we change? Why do we change who we are, how we talk, what we wear? Who are we trying to impress? Is that a part of our instability that, we want to try to be, like I said, we present ourselves a certain way for a certain reason? Is it because we want to be accepted by a particular crowd that we find ourselves in, or are we going to be jumping from mass to mass? Every time we be around one set of people, we present ourselves one way, then we go around this other set of people, then we present ourselves that way, then we go around another set of people and present ourselves a totally, completely different way. And then we do that so much, then we lose the reality of who we really are. Be yourself. And then once you start becoming yourself, what about those people that you was putting on masks from? What if they don't like you for you? Could you let go? Could you move on? Why do you wear the clothes that you wear? I like to wear Adidas Top 10. I wear them because that came along in my era of time where I grew up in. That was a part of our culture. And yeah, if you didn't have on a pair of top tens or a pair of top tens back in those days, man, you was as a scrub, as we used to call it. You use a scrub. So we did wear certain clothes and outfits to try to fit in and try to be accepted by a crowd. But so do I really like? But I really do like that. I really do like Adidas. I mean, I like different brands of shoes too, like Nikes, things of that nature. But I don't. I have wore those and I bought them to extreme. But I'm an Adidas man. I just like Adidas. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, I started wearing Adidas. You got to wear a certain type of Adidas because if you don't wear a certain type of Adidas, you ain't part of the cool crowd. So now that I'm 56 years old, man, I'm thinking that cool stuff, man. A lot of that stuff is what got a lot of us in trouble. So now I done represented myself. I done rebranded myself, and I ain't got no friends no more. How about you? But I made the change because I wanted to better myself. I wanted to better my conditions. And what I mean by my conditions, I wanted to better the way that I was living. I wanted to better my health. I wanted to better my thinking, because my thinking and my thought process got me in a lot of negative situations. I wanted to be happy. I was tired of struggling. I ain't talking about financially struggling. I'm talking about struggling just to be motivated to live on a daily basis. You know, so that's why I decided to change and try to do something different. What about you? How you try to say you kind of in the link? What motivates you to self improve? You know, like I said, sometimes some of us we've been living with ourselves for so long and conducting ourselves in a certain way so long. Sometimes the people that we run around with the same way, and then we find out that we've been living wrong. Our health started to deteriorate. Some of the stuff that we've been putting in our bodies, that we've been putting in our bodies all our life, to find out that it's causing us physical health problems, and they end up leading to our demise. We got to start making some changes. We got to make changes in our diet. We got to start exercising, stretching, drinking more water. Stop drinking alcohol. I know it's hard. Stop drinking alcohol because it's killing us. Listen, the older we get, we can't do the same things that we did when we was children, younger. My brother had to tell me, he said, man, we can't eat the same way we did when we was 19, 20 years old, man, when you 40 and 50 years old. Our minds are infinite, guys. Our minds are infinite. Time never was when man was not. And I'm talking about spirit, man. That the spirit and the mind is infinite. So it don't age. So it always thinking the same way, or not necessarily the same way, but it's thinking it can do some of the same things that it did when our physical forms was younger, and it can't. And then, like I said, we started to do things different. Like I said, I stopped drinking. When I stopped drinking alcohol, I had an epiphany that I was going to stop doing. I had an epiphany that my life would improve, not only from stop drinking alcohol, but if I started doing other things. I wanted to rebrand myself. I didn't want to be the street guy. I didn't want to be the alcoholic. I didn't want to be the drug dealer. I didn't want to be the career criminal. I didn't want to be the rah dude no more. I just wanted to be a peaceful and pro-social member of society. And the moment I started to do that and I took a step back from some of the things that I was doing, I tried to rebrand myself. No, I did rebrand myself. I didn't try to rebrand myself. I feel that I was rejected. I was rejected by my peers. The people that hung around. I see them from time to time. And like I said, it don't bother me at all. I'm glad. I'm glad to be in the space that I'm in today. How about you? How about you? And if you're not glad that you're in this space today, ask yourself why. How do you feel about yourself when the old you ain't welcome no more? Ask yourself that question. How would you feel if the old you, the person who you were that was causing you all these negative outcomes, all these negative consequences, and causing other people negative outcomes and consequences. Now you change into a more pro-social person, but nobody, you're rejected. Then you start thinking in your mind, was it worth it? Sometimes the glow feels like a setup when you realize who don't clap for you. When you realize that the very person or people that motivated you to want to make these changes, whether it was your children, whether it was your significant other, whether it was your mama, your daddy, somebody at your job, or whatever the case may be, motivated you to make these changes by constantly reminding you of that you are a better person or you're better than what you present or whatever. You decided just to take the advice. Let me give myself a chance. You give yourself a chance, you start uh, actually growing and capitalizing off and receiving benefits from the rebranding, if you will, the being reborn again and being this person that you always was inside but was suppressed. And then them very same people that motivated you, they don't want you like that. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize other people become codependent upon you. They become codependent upon your negative outcomes. They become codependent upon that person that you outgrew. Ain't that something? The person that you outgrow, other people won't, but you outgrow them. They don't want the person that you grew into. They want the person that you grew out of. That's deep. That's very, very deep. And a lot of us are going through that in life. You know, a lot of us is going through that life, and I open this show up for people to express themselves. I want some interaction. I wanted to find out, if anybody can relate to what I'm talking about. I ain't got no guests this week. I had a guest for the past 2 weeks, and it was interesting dialogue. And he was a very interesting person, and I like the way he opened up. And I wanted the world, or whoever, the world in particular, our particular organization, brothers in our particular organization, to see him from a different light. I wanted them to see him from with Allah's eyes, non-judgmental. Yeah, that's what I'm start calling non-judgmental. Non-judgmental is Allah's eyes. Yeah. Some of the things, man, that some of us been through in life, we wouldn't even have to go through, or wouldn't have had to go through if it wasn't for us not being ourselves. If you just can be yourself, first of all, you got to know yourself in order to be yourself. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't take the opportunity to do, to get to know themselves. But once you get but it's gonna come a time in your life and you ain't gonna have a choice. And then when you face with yourself, like I said, if you don't like what you see, if you don't like what you see, imagine what the world see. Because man, one thing I know, other people can discover you more plainly than you could. But once you see yourself, you can start to see how other people have been seeing you all along, man. And that can be devastating. And I think back on my life, man, when I think about all the stuff, the behavior that I presented to the world, think about it, y'all. When I think about the behavior, listen, man, when I think about the behavior that I presented to the world, I think about some of the things I have said, some of the things I have done, man, I feel ashamed. But I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to change, to rebrand myself. Now I'm a pillar of the community. Working, man, not only do I got a 9 to 5, but I also have a career. What I mean by career, I'm a peer recovery coach. And if you have any issues that you need to discuss, anything to work on, substance use related issues or mental health related issues, you can contact me privately. I also have you can go to Culturally, Google Culturally, COACHERLY, and look me up in the United States, in Michigan, and Detroit, and look me up to be a recovery coach. You can work on some things, help guide you through some things. Because I've been through a lot. I've been through a whole lot. And like I said, I ain't bragging. I have a keen insight on some things, man. And a lot of people don't like that because they're used to me sitting around quiet, not saying nothing, following behind a blind man, two blind mice. But now that once you find yourself and you find your voice and you find your lane, and other people still stuck in that same parking lot they was when you was in there with them, they ain't gonna they may reject you. Some of them may not. Some of them, but most of them they gonna reject you. But the most important thing is that you don't reject yourself. You don't reject yourself. You gotta embrace yourself. Yeah, rejection isn't just painful though; it's revealing. When people reject you, it's revealing to let you know who was with you all along, or their motive. What were their motives? Somebody can support you when you making improvements in your life. I had a guy, man. It was so deep, man. This guy, man, was my friend. You know who he is, and I ain't gonna say no names, but I got started to make changes in my life. This guy was right there, man. Let me sleep in his house when he was vacant. He's still my man. I'm just telling the story. I was vacant. He knew what I was going through as a result of my alcohol issues. That's what I was. I had an alcohol issue that caused me problems family problems, that problems, social and economic problems. And he was there for me. He helped me out. But the moment I got out of that treatment center, man, I'll never forget. He came on my birthday. It was funny. He was like, "It's your birthday. We're going to go get something to eat. We're going to go get some girls. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." And he pulled straight up to the liquor store. And I was like, "Man, I don't drink." "You know I don't drink, man. Why would you do that to me?" And he was like, "Oh, man, oh, baby, okay, baby. It ain't no different." He pulled out a big old bag of weed. Pop. And I said, "I ain't smoking neither." And he was like, "Well, I might as well take you home." And he took me home. I was thinking to myself, what happened to the food? What happened to the girl? Because I ain't drinking no more and I ain't smoking no more. We can't hang out. And listen, we ain't hung out no more since. You don't come get me because I guess that was the nature of our relationship. It wasn't about me. It was about that. Some of us need to give it that. Sometimes people don't give a damn about you. All they care about is what you bring to the table and what you can do for them when it's time for them. I mean, when they need you, that's all they care about. But when it comes down to you as a person, as a human being, about you getting yourself together and you better yourself, man, people don't believe in you. They show it to you when they do stuff like that. They don't believe that you can make a difference. They don't give a damn if you made a difference or not. All they care about is keep making sure they get their needs met. Had another guy call me brother, came and picked me up on my last day, or after my last day of play. First thing he said, "I got some wine in the back." See, I said, "Brother, got out of." He goes, man, it ain't nothing, a little sip. It ain't about a little sip. Come on, bro. You see what I just went through. I'm done with that. One day at a time. He's like, "You got to beat me." I'm looking at them like, what type of guys is these? See, people don't want to see you change. They say they want to see you change. They say they got your back. They say they want to see you do better. But start doing better. Watch what happens. I never forget. I ain't gonna share that story because it ain't my story to tell. But when I first met my wife, she had some resistance from some people because she had started doing something different when she met me. You know. So dang, that's deep, man. Why do people reject the new you though? Why? Ask yourself, why do people reject the new you instead of embracing it? When you're doing something to better yourself, your so-called friends, your so-called family members, even you, sometimes reject the new you. Why? When your life started to change, when your life started to improve. Sometimes the people, like I said, some people are codependent upon your neediness or whatever the case may be, whatever it was, the type of person that you was, and everything in this set against you got to be a bad person or doing some negative stuff. I'm just saying everybody, no matter where they at in life, have room for improvement. And when you start making those improvements, people are used to you being that person that you was. If you had was a heavy person with a lot of weight, the moment you start losing weight and your body started to look a little different, started to look a little better, started to tighten up. Not saying that it didn't look good in the first place, but to your liking, you want to change yourself, change your appearance, improve your health, whatever the case may be. The people that you think will be rooting for you don't be rooting for you. They say they're rooting for you until you get there. Once you get there, once you arrive to where you at, they may not even say nothing. They might even try to validate the fact that you achieved what you went out, and then have you be thinking to yourself like, "Damn, ain't nobody happy for me because I made these, or ain't nobody rooting for me." But then you turn around and see them rooting for everybody else. Then you start asking yourself, what is it about me that people don't like? Again, I ain't talking about me. Even though I experience these thoughts, that's why I'm bringing it up. I experience these thoughts, but I see this a lot in my travels. I see this a lot with people, periods, people trying to be accepted. Just like I told you, I did the interview with the brother last week, Sharif Daniel Bay. You can chime in if you want to. You remember we talked about how growing up, you moved a lot and you suffer from the imposter syndrome. I did too, man. I went to 8 elementary schools in Detroit. Started off in elementary school in California. I think I went to like 2 out there. So we was always me and my brothers always was having to reinvent ourselves, reintroduce ourselves. And every neighborhood we went was different. So we had to reintroduce ourselves in a different way. We had to present ourselves in a different way just to be accepted in the community that we was trying to move in, trying to live in, trying to navigate through. It was just like when I went to prison. When I went to prison, the crazy part about going to prison is prison was already seemed like it was like you get a prepaid debit card. It was like a prepaid population because everybody there I already knew. The setup was the same. The setup was just like it was when I went to elementary school, going to walk through the school hallway. It was the same setup. High school, matter of fact, it's like when you're in high school, you got your lockers. That's where you keep all your stuff at. The only difference is they ain't tell you you're gonna be sleeping in the toilet, in the bathroom. That's the only difference. You got a bathroom in the bathroom. Then when we went to the positive, it's like you was in community living in the dorm settings. It was just like being in the camp. So I was like, man, was we trained or molded to go in this direction? Did somebody else brand me and put me a prepared a script unbeknownst to me? And I followed the script. And now that I dare try to, what they call that, when they place you in a role and then you get in there typecast. And I dare buck the typecasting and want to do something different than you want to reject. Yeah, that's deep, man. That's deep. That's why a lot of people stay stuck. That's why a lot of people stay stuck because they fear if they change, they fear rejection from their peers. And then start playing the trick on you, starting to play the trick on your mind, and start making you feel inadequate about the change that you made, and you go back to destroying your life, or you go back to doing the old same stuff you always did that didn't give you as much happiness or joy as you had when you made those changes. So is it guilt? I'm talking about, is it guilt from the people that rejected? They feel guilty because they are incapable of making the same progress or change that you have made? Is it jealousy? They mad at you because you had the strength to dare and do something different? Or is it fear? What's going on their behalf for you? Or is it fear for them that they would never be able to accomplish the little steps that you made? It's deep, man. It's deep. You hear me, Mike? It's deep, man. Is it guilt, jealousy? Is it fear? Whatever the case it may be, it's something that it shouldn't be. When the old you ain't welcome. That's deep, man. That's deep. You changed is often code for you're no longer doing whatever it was that the people that you hung around was doing. That's what that means. I remember the relationship. It also means that you're no longer controllable. Yeah, remember that. When you say I changed, I mean they can't control you or whatever the dynamic it was that your relationship was establishing. They can't control you with that. It was funny. Like I was in a relationship when I initiated the change in my life, and when I went to the little place that I was going to, I went to a treatment center. When I went to the treatment center, I went to sobriety house. Yeah, share house first, and I had to go to detox. And if I got a detox, I went to sobriety house. I didn't go back to share house. I went to sobriety house. And it was funny that the person that motivated me, or kind of like motivated me, because I was really motivated by myself and my own anguish and my own pain. I wanted to change. I wanted to be something. I couldn't present to the world that person that I was at that particular time. And I called my significant other and I told her what I had done and blah, blah, blah. And she said all this good stuff. And to me, and she said, you still gonna be a no good, dirty mother score, so and so and so. And I was like, wow. At that moment, I realized that people want to keep you in the same position, in the same boat. So they try to control your moods, try to control your thoughts, try to control how you feel about yourself. Because we allow other people to control our emotions by giving them the power to. Who gives a damn about what you think? Look at me now. And I ain't really saying that like I'm all of that, but I'm in a much, much, much better space than I was 9 years ago. Much better space. I feel like a completely different person. Like I said, I don't have company no more. I haven't had company in a whole lot of years, and I wouldn't even feel comfortable with a lot of people coming over my house right now. I don't want them to come over my house no more because I don't want them. I'm glad you rejected my change because it allowed me to grow even further. Now let's talk about let's talk about the isolation that comes with growth. That's another thing. When you start to grow now, you find yourself by yourself. You find yourself lonely. I mean, not necessarily lonely, and I keep using the word lonely because you're single. You're obviously when you used to being with 5 people all the time, and now you're down to one. That's you. You're alone. That's what I'm trying to say. You're alone, and a lot of times you can feel like you isolate yourself because you're separate from everybody else all the time. I don't know about you, but I feel Pete. I like to separate myself from people. Even when I'm in the crowd, I separate myself from the crowd while I'm with the crowd because I like to be alone. I like to be alone with my thoughts because my thoughts are constant and they're always telling me to do certain things. And most of the things they tell me to do ain't positive. So I like to be alone with myself so I don't want to have nobody instigating the negative thoughts that I have. Boom. So, what y'all think about this discussion? I need to. I'm gonna give me another camera, y'all. And I'm gonna get a bigger, wider screen, and I'm gonna find me a studio. I wish I had a host. I started off with a host, and you got time for me. Like I say, nobody don't have time for progress, man. I'm talking a lot of stuff, man, with a lot of people, man, and I'm amazed. I never thought about doing podcasts. I don't know what it's gonna take me. It might not take me nowhere, but I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna keep doing it. And the crazy part about it, I got involved in it from another friend of mine. He called me and said, "Let's start a podcast." I in turn said, "Hey, let's get another host. I know a girl. I don't really know that well, but I'm gonna reach out. Let's reach out to her and bring her along." We started Street Culture from Hood to Hood. I tell y'all this before, but I'm recapping this season 2, episode 1. We started a podcast. It was called Street Culture from Hood to Hood, and I loved it. We had a nice studio. We had everything set up, and we was consistent for about 3 or 4 months, probably longer than that. And then next thing I know, we started skipping, missing, overlooked it. And next thing I know, we all kind of like drifted apart. I wanted them to come back, but now I'm here, man, and I'm here by myself. Like I said, when you rebrand yourself or be reborn, sometimes, man, you're rejected by people. Now the person that brought me to the podcast world, I keep talking to him about it. You even Gerald and me. But I'm here now, man. I'm doing my thing, man. And I hope y'all support me and start buying some of that merchandise, the t-shirts, hats. I got coffee mugs, the whole 9 yards. T-shirts, coffee mugs, that chest out, heart open. MyShopify.com. I'll put it on the banner right here. Man, come support me and get some of your merch, some of this merch. Come support your boy and get some of this merch. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I got. This is a commercial. We're going to wrap this up, y'all. We're going to wrap this up. Here. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. You don't owe anyone an old version of you. You ain't got no getting nobody over you. This path you're on, the healed you, the whole you, the evolving you, that's sacred. And if they can't recognize it, it ain't your job to shrink. Remember that. Be whole, be healed, be free. Subscribe to Chest Out Heart Open Podcast and follow me on all platforms. Stream YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And remember, when the old you ain't welcome no more, it just means the new you is overdue. Peace out.